Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 5 of What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Anos Voldigoad. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs over the other channels. Yes, if you're new, I indeed have 4 of them, guys, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All of the links will be on the description for Anime King 2 and Making 3, Anime Symbol, and Anime Prince. So go ahead, check them out, and yeah, enjoy. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see exactly when I post, because I do post a hell of a lot. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now, guys. So, the last time that we left off, we began with the Raikage. Despite the time that has passed, the humiliation has never disappeared. Not in the slightest. He was still reeking with the stigma of being humiliated by a single child, beaten within an inch of his life, and also healed by this child, and not to mention forced to sign a pact with said child in order to keep his people and himself safe. Yes, the stigma and the anger was still there. The man was violent about it on most occasions. That is until he got contacted by something. You could not call it a person. Whatever this being was, it possessed unimaginable power. It had a way in order to break the seal that he had made with Naruto, so that he could be free. But not only that, whatever this thing was, it had a deep-seated hatred for Naruto as well. So that gave the Raikage the upper hand in gaining a new ally, a friend that he could use to face off against his boy and end his life. Yes, that was something that he was happy to find out. Meanwhile that was taking place, Naruto was walking through the forest when he was suddenly attacked out of nowhere. As the attack came fast, however, he was light years faster than the attack as he proceeded to dodge. She jumped down. Anko Migarashi. She tried to use her womanly charms against him, but she failed in every aspect of the word. He was unbothered. He did not seem to react in the slightest as she thought he would. She heard about him, she heard the things. She heard that he was incredibly powerful. People did not know anything about him and his deal with the Raikage after all. That was kept a secret. Minato had made sure to keep it on the down low as well, to not bring further hatred from the Raikage. But not only that, the Raikage and his people were being rather quiet about it. Even if there were whispers and rumors, people believed that it was just that, rumors after all. What they were claiming was just idiotic and stupid, right? I mean, he's a Kage, and the boy is a child. It doesn't matter who his father is or who his mother is. Skipping back to where Naruto was, he was speaking to Anko, as he wanted to see the seal. She immediately changed her way of thinking. She wasn't pleased at all. She was now angry. The seal was a stigma and a continuous hate that she had inside of her, knowing that it was a part of her. When Naruto brought it up that he could remove it, she refused to hear him out. His father tried, Jiraiya of the Sannin tried, but they all failed in each and every way. Naruto understand her skepticism. After all, in her eyes he was just an inexperienced person that don't know what he's talking about. But all he did was wanted to see it. So they made a bet, and if he win, he would be able to examine the seal. They fought. In the span of a second, Naruto defeated her without even blinking an eye. She was already down and out for the count, as he used chains in order to defeat her. Said chains bind and held her down, and she could not even move, not in the slightest. With her being defeated, he asked her to remove her shirt. Once again, she tried to use that against him, but once again, he did not react how she thought he would. He was just so calm, nonchalant about the whole thing. So she did so as Naruto examined the seal. He then found out why his father, Lord Jiraiya, could remove the seal. Orochimaru's soul was inside of it. Anko told him to remove it. She did not care if she was going to die. Having that man a part of her, she didn't want that, she rather die. As Naruto placed his source inside of her. We then found the both of them. Well, she was gone the moment he entered. A baby Anko running around, in fear of Orochimaru. She had to be the one to break the door though, as Naruto inspired her to do so, as he took on the Sannin. Orochimaru's soul fragment believing that this was his domain, as he tried to kill Naruto, but Naruto showed him that he was above him, as he annihilated the Sannin into nothingness, erasing him in the process. Orochimaru was gone. When Anko woke up as she saw that the seal was gone, she was beyond shock. She could not describe how she felt in words. She was so happy, so delighted. Naruto became her best friend after that. He was able to help her get over this mark that has plagued her for her entire life. As she dragged him around, introduced him to people. When Naruto came to the office, his father had just been through a rather important meeting with someone. Her name was Meitarumi. As Naruto spoke to his father, Minato let Naruto understand the problem that was taking place inside of the village of Kiri, and he told Naruto about the full history of the village as Naruto sat and listened to him. Minato wanted Naruto to partake in this mission. He wouldn't be alone, of course, because they were going to be showing full support, a public support for the village, to show that Konoha was back in the rebellion group. As Naruto understood, he also informed his father about Anko and what he did. Naruto returned home. As he spoke to his sister, her little friends were there. Hinata, who saw Naruto as a hero. After all, he did save her mom. Ino was there as well. As Naruto spoke to his mother about his latest upcoming mission, she understood. Yes, it was a mother job to worry, but she knew by now that Naruto could protect himself in any situation. Later that day, Naruto spoke to Izumi. As they meet up every now and again, her schedule was difficult as Naruto told her about his upcoming mission. However, when they came to an end, she did something strange. She kissed him on the cheek. She herself seemed to be testing the waters, as Naruto himself looked at her, wondering what was that for. As she said her goodbyes and left. But that was not all. 3 primordial being was speaking to a lower being, the one that has been circling the elemental nation and looking out for Naruto. It turns out that these beings had something in common. Naruto, born in this world, brought forward a gap. It brought forward the anomaly that these ancient beings had been watching for some time now, and they refused to let such a thing go on without them not getting involved. So yes, they send the other one down there to test Naruto. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So to begin this new episode, we begin this episode with Kakashi Hatake as he was calmly making his way towards the west gate for his mission, when suddenly someone just appeared beside him and got into perfect formation as they walked. You know, this might not be such a good sign. For you to be early and responsive towards a mission. This doesn't look too good for us, spectrum-wise, Naruto said as he stood beside Kakashi. You know, most of the time, I don't know if you're joking or not. It's really hard to tell. What are you talking about? Said Naruto. I'm an excellent joke teller. In fact, my sister and mom tell me that I am the funniest guy that they know. Well, to be fair, you are their son and brother. Tch, coming from a man that don't understand the concept of humor, said Naruto. I will leave it up to other people to judge my humor, Naruto said. Take it how you want, said Kakashi. Anyway, this is a very important mission, more than most. We're representing the future collaboration between Kiri and Konoha as well. So there can't be any shortcomings. Oh, really now? Or is it that my father spoke to you about your tardiness? I have no idea what you're talking about, said Kakashi. Fine. We can keep this between us, said Naruto. As they arrive at the gate to see 5 medical ninjas dressed in the standard medical uniform. It was a white uniform with a kanji for healer right at the chest and the Konoha symbol ingrained into the forehead. As Naruto greeted all of them, they greeted him back kindly as well. That is when someone appeared beside Naruto and clapped him on the shoulder. It was none other than the teleporter, Shisui. Whoa, Shisui said, as he looked towards Kakashi. You're early. That's not really a good sign. Exactly, that's what I said Naruto as Shisui laughed a bit. You see, said Naruto, my humor is impeccable. You can't really let him be the judge of that, said Kakashi, as he stuffed one hand in his pocket and pulled out his book. We both know that he finds the most silliest things humorful. As the medical ninjas stood there watching them. So this is what it felt like to be around top-class ninjas, most of them thought. Naruto had been on countless missions with Shisui, and Kakashi as well. Kakashi was a teacher of Naruto in a sense as well, showing him the ropes of being a Jonin. That is when Naruto turned as he saw Mei Terumi. As she was heading their way, there was also another man with her. He was a Konoha ninja, but Naruto wasn't quite sure who exactly this was. He had brown hair, dark eyes. Tenzo, said Kakashi. It's Yamato, Yamato said, replying back to him. I don't believe we had the pleasure, said Naruto. No, we haven't, said Tenzo, shaking Naruto's hand. I was assigned to be the 4th man of your group. You may refer to me as Yamato, he said. Pleasure to meet you, Yamato. I'm Naruto Namikaze. Yes, I know who you are, Yamato said. It seems you've starstruck him, Naruto. Kakashi, Yamato said, giving him a glare. You know, he's a big fan of yours. Hearing about your stellar growth, being the youngest Jonin ever. Yamato was glaring at Kakashi, who seemed to find all of this rather funny, until someone cleared their throat. It was a guard with Mei Terumi. His name was Ao. Given the fact that she had arrived, and none of them had said anything about her presence. However, Mei was just fine in watching all of them interact with one another. Just by that, she could tell that each of them was powerful in their own right. The way they spoke, the way they carried themselves. However, the one that she was interested in the most was him. He was also the youngest of the group, she presumed. However, he was also a very special case. That was correct, he was the youngest Jonin. I don't believe I had the pleasure, said Naruto. I wasn't there for the other meeting. As he extended his hand, she wrapped her arm around his, holding onto his hand in a soft and gentle embrace. I must say, I was looking forward to meeting you. I heard about your extraordinary feat, and I'm honored that your father would put so much interest and focus in giving us some of his most stronger warriors, in order to help us in the plight that we're suffering at the moment. Well, he's a really generous man. And besides, you made a fantastic proposal. Your case was one that could not be ignored. May had a smile on her face. He seemed to be able to keep up quite well. As Naruto was rather calm as he looked at her, his expression didn't change much, as he gave off a calm and relaxed vibes. Well then, I think we should get going now. I'm sure that you want to be as close as possible to your people in these more dire situations. Yes, that is correct, she said. Alright then, let's move out, she said. With that, all of them started to make their way, moving at a good speed after all. None of them here were civilians, so it was quite okay. Kakashi was not wrong about Tenzo being a fan of Naruto, as the boy career had started out with a bang. He was the youngest Jonin to date, and his mission record was stellar. In just a few years, he's done over 100 plus missions, and none of them, not even one, has come close to being a failure. This child was truly something else. Most people would find it hard to separate him from his father, the spotlight that is, but many people started to see him as his own person. Because yes, his father might be great, but he has the potential to be even greater than Minato. As the group made their way, as Shisui and Naruto conversed, they spoke to one another every now and again. Kakashi watched as he realized that it seemed to run in the family, the charisma that is. Minato was quite popular with the ladies, and Naruto seemed to be affecting even the ones older than him. And the thing about it, he was just being his normal, calm self. Yes, he was. They went around as they passed by few days, but they had to take a rest. The medical ninjas mostly were tired, so they camped for the night. As Naruto was standing by a stream, gazing out towards a massive pond in front of him as he watched the fishes. Something on your mind? Shisui said as he appeared out of nowhere. His teleportation ability was incredibly fast. Yes, there is something on my mind, but I wonder if you're the right person to talk about. Why not? We're friends. Whatever it is, I can try to help you out. It's actually about Izumi, Naruto said. Oh, Shisui said. There was this look on his face, like he knew something more than Naruto. Naruto did not comment on it though. So how are things going between you two? You say that in this suggestive way, to make me believe that you have something else that you want to say. I am afraid I don't know what you're talking about. So, spill it, Shisui said. She kissed me, said Naruto. She did? Huh. So she made the first move, huh? What was that? Oh, nothing, he said. So, what happened there? Well, this happened yesterday, so I haven't gotten the chance to speak to her, and now I'm heading on a long-term mission. When we finished our conversation, she kissed me on the cheek and then she simply headed off. Usually, certain things like this will be easy for me to figure out. But you and I both know that she's not a normal girl in any sense of the word. Huh, don't I know that? She's one of my closest friends. But yes, she's a lot. But you make up for that. The both of you make one whole circle. Look, Naruto, you're one of the smartest people I know, including myself, and I'm not being vague about that. You already know what you want to say, and you already know everything, but you're not letting yourself see that. Because as mature as you are, and as advanced as your brain might work, feelings are really complicated, he said. However, if anyone can figure it out, I know you can, he said, tapping him on the shoulder. Hope my advice helped. It actually did. A lot, said Naruto. Time skip. The group made their way on a boat, as it took some while for them to finally arrive back towards shore. On the way there, Naruto was speaking to me, as he spoke about a few of Kiri history. Ayo, her guard, had came across Shisui in the past, but not on exactly friendly terms. But the man was extremely glad that they were now working together. When they got off the boat user seemed to be one of Nei's agents, as he told her the pathway was clear and everything was okay. So they start to make their way towards the secret island. They weren't heading towards the main island. Kiri was made up of several different islands. The larger one that was in the center was where the village was located as a whole. However, they had to take this smaller island to get to the other one. They would have to water walk for a while. But something was just not right. The reason why Mei had been so desperate was because rumors and chatters were spreading that Yagura was going to make a full wave assault and eviscerate all of the threat. He was tired of it, he said. He wanted all of them to be gone now. They were interfering with business. They were getting in the way of retrieving goods. They were coming after his people. He was tired of that now. He was going to make a move to annihilate all the bloodline users. And they even said that he would be showing up himself. That was a rare thing because usually he's always away from the spotlight. But Mei had her informants in the village, and she trusts them as she trusts their word. Mr. Rumi, said Naruto, causing her and Ayo to pause. It seems that you were correct about the fourth Mizukage making a move. This island, it is not secured. That's not possible, said Ayo. They wouldn't have been able to get past without us finding out about it, he said, as he glanced towards Naruto, not quite believing him. How well do you trust that boatman? It was Shisui that spoke next. He's been loyal for years now. He wouldn't do anything to put me or my people in jeopardy. I thought that something was off, but I just figured that maybe it's a nerve of being the one to carry you here, knowing that his life is just on the line just as yours. However, his acting was a bit off. I don't know the man, but I could tell that something was not right. I presume that all of you also believe that it was the nerves, he said, glancing towards Kakashi, who nodded, Yamato doing the same. Naruto was not looking at them though. Ayo, on the other hand, turned his gaze away from them. As he brought his hand together, he proceeded to activate the eye that was hidden under his eye patch. Damn it! Underground! He shouted. They were going after the medics. The groan exploded a few feet away from the medic corps, as there were 3 loyalists that burst outwards, their hands already finishing the hand sign, as they spew out bullets of water to rain down on the medical corps. However, in the span of a second and beyond, Naruto stood in front of them, his demon eyes of ruin activated. Fall, he said, as the water bullets fell. His back was turned as 2 ninjas flashed to his side. Ayo was about to call out until Kakashi was gone, his fist placing right in one of the ninja's guts, his other hand grabbing him by the neck. Shisui teleported behind the other one and proceeded to send him sailing away. This all happened in just seconds. Ayo was shocked by the trust that he had in them, that he did not even move in the slightest, knowing that they would have his back. That is when the remainder burst from underneath the ground, launching water dragon towards the group. Mei was about to make a move until she saw Naruto teleported away and appeared in front of the water dragons. There were copies of him in front of each. He rested his hand out towards them, and for a brief second he touched them. The attack seemed to defy the laws of physics itself and turn, changing destination. Right became left. The 2 ninjas' eyes went wide before they were hit by their own attack. Naruto looked down as chains exploded from the ground, the ninjas using them to try and wrap it around his legs. However, as they tried to tighten themselves around his body, and they were successful, They pulled his arm apart, causing the one in the center to shot forward, blade in his hand as he jumped, letting out a huge battle cry to cut Naruto down. Then Zera said Naruto. Suddenly, the sword broke in half. The ninja arm cracked. The sound of bones being broken could be heard. The other two found their arms snapped to the right as their legs broke as they collapsed down to their knees. The chains melted off Naruto as they got so hot, yet his clothing was not harmed in the slightest. Naruto then moved before he plunged his hand in the earth and ripped it out, pulling a man out in the process. As he gazed into his eyes, sleep. As Naruto said that, the man fell asleep as he dropped his unconscious body down to the ground. Mei Terumi was baffled by all that just took place. These ninjas were no Chunin rank. They were all Jonin, and yet Shisui and Kakashi dealt with their foes rather well, but he annihilated his with just a small few action. She had no idea how he was able to pull off what he just did. He was bound in chains, and yet he somehow attacked them in the process. She knew that he had to be something special in order for him to be promoted, for him to be a Jonin at the age that he was promoted at. And she wasn't wrong. She could see it. The ninja with a broken arm looked up towards Naruto. How? We had you tied up. You couldn't have attacked us. What did you do? He said in confusion. My power fluctuates between possibility. So does my body as well. The technique I just used, it influenced all possibilities. The possibility I had moved earlier. The possibility I attacked you. The possibility I defend myself. Therefore, you saw me standing still, but at the same time I was attacking you. You're just not powerful enough to see it or break its influence. Now, sleep, said Naruto. The guy fell asleep. As Naruto walked past him and gazed around, he couldn't pick up on anyone else. It seems this was what they sent. I believe that they send this all over towards the islands. If that is the case, the attack that you spoke about will be coming sooner than later. Mei gritted her teeth. She could worry about what he could do later. We have to go now, she said. With that, they all moved out. Arriving towards their camp, they were not followed in the slightest. As the medical corps got to work on those who really needed the aid, it turns out that the boatman had went missing for a few hours. Perhaps he got captured. He was a standard carrier from the mainland. So yes, he did not know where the rebellion hideout was. However, he had chosen to be loyal to them for years now, providing safe passage to them and giving them the go-ahead that the place was clear. But now he decided to sell them out. They perhaps did something to him, but they couldn't afford to worry about that now. The censors informed me that the people had sent message back. Yagura was on the move. His people was on the move. They were coming. The rebellion forces were becoming too much of a hassle. They were growing in strength. They were getting aid. They were ruining shipments, ruining missions. Yagura finally decided that he had enough. He sent out an army of his people to scout the lands. Every single one of them. They had not reached this land just yet. However, if they scout all the others, they presumed that Yagura was just going to start to attack with his forces. So it was a good thing that they were back, with backup. Majority of them were shocked when they saw Shisui the teleporter, Kakashi Hatake as well. And they've been hearing rumors of the son of Minato Namikaze, and this is him. They did not know the other one though. However, the medical corps being here was a godsend for all of them. Mei quickly gathered as much as she could, the people that were not in bad condition, as she gathered her forces as much as she could. While that was going on, Yagura, along with a large army, was making their way, crossing the islands that were crossed off the list. He was using his forces to conquer each of these islands, leaving behind a small portion of his people to let the rebellion forces know that these islands now belong to him. He was done waiting. It was time that he put an end to this, once and for all. However, this was not Yagura's doing. This was another. Behind the scene, hidden in the shadows, was the masked man. He had put Yagura under his control for some time now, as he had twisted and corrupted the man's mind and used him like a pawn. However, he realized that the rebellion forces were growing in strength, and their forces were causing more and more damage to the balance of Kiri. He didn't give a damn about that, but he didn't want Yagura to die, because if he did, the tail beast would take a long time to reform, and he didn't want that, so it's time that they annihilate the rebellion forces, wipe them out finally. He had the Zetsu spawns gather information on the island, so they marked off each of the islands. However, by Yagura perception, he believed that he was the one doing all of this, as he had clear intentions of the hatred of the bloodline users that had passed down after generations. So in his mind, this was all of his doing. The scouts quickly reported back to the mainland, as Mei Terumi was informed rather quickly. She called a meeting between her people. All of them were gathered. It was a large number of them, packed together. The Konoha ninjas resided over to the side, as Mei told them that this will be the determined fight. As she stood tall, this will be the fight that will change or maintain our village. We have fought for years, losing many important people to all of us, and we will not let their sacrifice go down in vain. She said, inspiring her people. I will not lie to you. This battle will take all that we have. However, we will combine our forces and work together to show them that we are unbreakable, and finally put an end to the tyranny that Yagura posed on all of us, and reclaim our home and the stigma that has plagued us for years upon years. Today we fight. Today we step back in our village and we return back to our home. I won't lie to you and tell you that this battle won't cause bloodshed and death. So if you have any reservation about not risking your life for the goal, if you do not believe in it, I suggest you walk away right now, because from this moment on there is no turning back. She gave them a chance, but no one moved. Alright then we fight as one, she said to them. Everyone was ready, as she spoke to the Konoha group aside. There was a reason why Yamato was brought on this mission. If the three-tail got out of control, he would be able to restrain the beast. It had came at a surprise when Mei found out that he possessed the Mokidan, the first Hokage, Kekkei Genkai. Most believe that it was actually a mutation because no other was able to replicate it, and to believe that this man possessed that technique. So they were ready. They quickly started to move out and separate their group. Mei hoped they could finish this with as little as bloodshed as possible. After all, in the end, they were going to come together to lead the village in a brighter future. Time skip. Yagura arrived towards the final island. His people quickly surrounded the area. Mei Terumi was standing there, as she seemed to be by herself. Yagura walked towards her, as his people stayed behind. They stood a few feet away from one another. She was the first to speak. It doesn't have to end this way. We can stop this and avoid the bloodshed that will definitely come. I'm afraid it does have to. Your kind is a scourge and virus upon this nation. Time after time, you people get to go on despite the horrendous deeds that you have done in the past. May clench your fists. It doesn't matter what those other bloodline users did in the past. Things are different now, and you and several others carry out an entire armada to wipe out countless of innocent clans for no reason, just because they possess something special, and now you want to erase it entirely. Well, I won't allow you to do so, you naive woman. It seems like taking on the burden of leading those people have given you this shocking belief that you have a choice in the matter. However, let me show you that. He spun his staff. You don't. As he brought it down towards her, May jumped back rather fast as his staff obliterated the earth. Immediately, he gave the signal as his people start to launch techniques one after another. However, that is when he arrived. He seamlessly appeared out of nowhere. Bino Yeben. He muttered the words. As he did, there was a bright flash. Massive walls appearing out of nowhere until it died down. All of the techniques hit the walls and dissipated. May stood there. He did it. He actually did it. Flashback. You know, Naruto said standing in front of May, there is another way to completely avoid bloodshed. This was moments before they had left out. What? What do you mean, she said. I didn't want to interrupt you and your speech. However, your people have suffered enough. So I believe that I should intervene by stopping any more life from being taken. And some of those people you said, they have no choice but to fight. However, most of them wanted to be put to an end. But I can do that. She looked towards him skeptically. Standing to the side was Shisui, as she gazed towards him. Don't doubt him, not in the slightest, Shisui said. She gazed back towards Naruto. What are you talking about, she said. End of flashback. When he told her that he could seal the section off with a wall that they won't be able to break in time. The wall was much weaker than one that he could actually put up, but that would take an extreme amount of time to do so. However, this wall should be strong enough to hold them until he finished with Yagura. Even if that is not the case, our people can surround the section and force them to give up, otherwise they would be annihilated. May couldn't believe it. However, Kakashi confirmed what Naruto had said. There was no doubt in his tone as he fully believed in what he had said, and Shisui, he believed it without a doubt. She knew there was something special about him, but this take the cake. Who the hell are you, said Yagura. I'm the one that was sent here to end your life. You will be an example for the people that reign behind you, for them to see that this war between two different people is finally over, and that your village will combine together as one. Keep your nonsense to yourself. I don't know what the hell you did to them, but I'm sure it's gonna fall once I kill you. Yagura pushed off at blinding speed as he appeared in front of Naruto and swing. Naruto ducked. Yagura brought his staff up and swing. He swung and swing and swung. However, Naruto dodged and evade and twist out of each of the attacks. Naruto dressed back as he thrust his fist forward. Yagura ducked underneath it though, as he proceeded to fill his cheeks. As he exploded water from his mouth. The water twists past Naruto though and turned into a serpent as Yagura manipulated the raw manipulation of water. It came screaming down towards Naruto with ferocity. It obliterated the land. Yagura jumped over it as he rushed towards May, ready to end her life. However, Naruto appeared in front of him and placed two fingertips against his forehead. Not so fast, he said. It's not over yet. Yagura was baffled. I hit you. How the... He gripped his fist as he reached up and gripped Naruto's hand. A smirk came on his face as suddenly, coral started to spread from the point of impact, as Naruto could see the chakra and the particles inside of it, as it was spreading up on his arm. The weight came down, however, Naruto stood tall, as he did not budge. That surprised Yagura, but he did not care. He twirled his staff and swung it towards Naruto's temple. However, an intense amount of heat burned everything from Naruto's arm off. Yagura was shocked. Burning the corals were impossible, and yet he somehow did it. Naruto reached up as he caught the staff, before he slammed his fists 3 times in Yagura's chest and 1 in his stomach. The man was taken off his feet and thrown back. Yagura collapsed down as he stopped himself. He reached up and wiped his lip. Blood was on his hand. As Naruto stood there. Flashback. What? Said Mei as she looked at Naruto. Why the hell would we make him transform? Because of your people. You said yourself, some of them has grown attached and loyal to him. Some of them believe in what he's saying. Some of them believe in his might of him being undefeated. So if we're going to change that, he has to use all that he possesses in order for him to be taken down. Yes, I understand what you're saying, but to fight him by yourself when he's transformed, he's a perfect Jinchuriki he can harness and fully control the power of that beast. Are you sure this is wise? Don't worry yourself, said Naruto. I will be perfectly fine, even if you fear the outcome of this battle. Yamato over there has the ability to restrain him, and if you perhaps forgotten, his name is Shisui Uchiha. Naruto said. Mei looked towards them and this risky plan, but they all seemed to have spoken about this when she did not know. They had so much faith in this one person. She decided to have faith in him as well. There must be a reason. Must be a reason why the Hokage selected him, and there must be a reason why they all believe that he can do this. In the flashback, Yagura was pissed as he felt the urge, a strong urge to end the life of all the bloodline users. The manipulation had grown deep. Yagura started to subconsciously draw on the power as a red cloak surrounded him. The people start to get more frustrated as they attack and bang on the barrier with all of their might. Meanwhile, that was going on as Yagura charged towards Naruto. Up in the sky, hidden behind the clouds, was that being once again. His insides seemed to be made from the universe. There were stars and all sorts of twinkly lights. Whatever he was definitely not human. That was well known by now. He referred to himself as us, not one, despite there's only been one physical being standing there. However, us had a reason for being here. As he gazed down, he could see the fight, even from space. He stood there observing and watching what was taking place, as he was witnessing the power of this Naruto. However, us could tell that this was merely a fraction of his power. He was barely even trying. Down below, Naruto was not using his sword, just his fist, his fist alone. However, his fist was causing Yagura more problem than a normal katana would. Yagura was baffled as he keeled over in pain. How is he punching him right through the cloak? Why isn't his arms burnt? Yagura was frustrated. Screw it all, he screamed. He proceeded to transform. However, at that moment, Us held his hand out, and a bright light flooded right into Yagura. Naruto snapped his gaze up in the heaven, as Us looked right down towards him before he flew off and disappearing through the atmosphere. Naruto looked down back towards Yagura. The transformation came to a stop, as a bright light swallowed the entire place, forcing everyone to hide their gaze away from what had just taken place. Shisui stood alongside Kakashi. What's going on? Is this Naruto's doing? Kakashi asks. No, it's not, Shisui said. Ayo stood there as he could not even see beyond that light, which was confusing. But that was not Chakra. What the hell was going on? They all then felt it. It felt like hundreds of boulders were resting on their shoulder. Everyone, including allies, started to sweat. Even Yagura allies. Something was not right. Mei swallowed thickly. What is this? Ayo, she said. I can't see it. I can't see beyond that light. Whatever it is, though, it's not Chakra. Then what is it? Said Mei, as this did not seem to be Naruto's doing. Given the look on his face, this was the first time she saw a different expression rather than calm and relaxed on his face. It wasn't fear. However, it was curiosity and a bit of confusion as well. With Naruto, he saw that thing once again. However, it was already gone by now. What did it do though? When the smoke and dust cleared, everyone was surprised, who were able to witness what was going on. Yagura was no longer a human, if you would say that. He had the aspect of the three tails. The tails were red though, and they seemed to have strange armor over them. His body was humanoid as he was standing on two legs. He had two arms, but he had this red armor over his body and over his face as well. And the shell of the turtle seemed to be at the front and at the back. His nails were long and black, and he was generating this odd power resonating from him. His eyes, they were odd, with slits and a curve in them, like an animal, a mutated beast. It is not the appearance alone that changed. As Yagura cleared the distance, boom! Naruto was sent sailing as he crashed through the mountainside, slamming through the entrance, breaking through and crashing hard. Yagura then disappeared as he reappeared beside Mei. Her blood ran cold. She couldn't move. Her body trembled in fear. The overwhelming power that was resonating from him sent her to her knees. As he raised his hand, however, his wrist was grabbed by Naruto, who stood there, unharmed. I see now, said Naruto. He merged you and the beast together, fusing the both of your life force to make your strength increase exponentially, with his power in the added benefit to make you even stronger. But you're not mindless, are you? Speak to me. What are you? I was created for the sole purpose to destroy you, Yagura said. His tone was no longer the same. I see now. So they're going to use others as their pawns instead of facing me themselves. Perhaps they don't believe that you're worthy of them laying their hands on you. Perhaps they don't think you're worth their time and effort to make a move. You don't belong here, and they know that. It's best if you just die. Now, why would they want to end my life? Is it because you're afraid of me and my existence in this world? Does my existence trouble their existence? You fool! You naive, stupid fool! They're gods. You're nothing. Nothing at all. They will squash you with their might. Then why haven't they yet? I presume they're waiting for something. And what would that be? Enough talking, Yagura said. I'll complete the task I was given. He swung his other hand towards Naruto. Naruto ducked. The wall behind Naruto, the side of the mountain, was shredded. Despite him not even touching it, tell them to stay back. This has become far more dangerous. Mei realized that he was talking to her as Naruto held his hand out as a gate arrived. He flicked his hand as a pressure sent her through it. As she reached where the others were, when a massive gate arrived behind them and came forward to swallow them whole. The gate reappeared a far distance away on a mountain top, and they were all brought out of it. What the hell? But it wasn't only them, the survivors of Yagura. They were sent away along with the wall, back to their section, leaving Naruto and Yagura only in the center. What's going on? What just happened? It was Yamato that asked. He sent us away. Something is wrong, said Mei, as she started to explain. The feeling that she got a moment ago. She thought that her life was going to be over. Despite her strength, despite her might, she couldn't even stand in that thing's presence. Down below, as the two forces clash, their hands caused fracturing in the environment. The ground was ripped and torn. They were both forced to separate. Naruto vanished and reappeared behind him. He spun as Naruto grabbed his leg and spun him before dropping him. Naruto appeared below him and kicked him in the sky. He then appeared above and slammed his head down into the earth. However, Yagura retracted and twisted his body as he used some sort of pressure to push himself back up. Naruto grabbed him though, but Yagura wrapped his arms and legs around Naruto as they were so flexible. He then spun and him and Naruto came down. Boom! A massive crater was formed, but when the smoke cleared, the only one lying there was Yagura. Naruto was able to dislodge himself away from him. Yagura got to his feet. The shell on his back opened up as 4 other arms emerged. The red liquid that seemed to be an armor started to melt as they formed 6 red blades. Yagura then shot towards Naruto as Naruto grabbed a slab of stone off the ground, infused it with his magic as he started to deflect everything with a piece of stone. Yagura slashed and hacked at Naruto. He got angry and brought the might of the 6 blades down. The stone in Naruto's hand exploded into pieces as Yagura planted his foot in Naruto's stomach, blasting him away. He then held his 6 hands to the sky. All the blades melt into a ball. It started to generate a extreme vast amount of power before it launched forward. As Naruto raised his hand, it made contact and it wasn't an explosion, it simply swallowed the entire area, eviscerating everything. There was no loud boom. It disintegrated everything. Everyone was shocked as they saw the place simply vanish. However, when the smoke and dust cleared, there Naruto stood, brushing his hands off. How? That's not possible. With this power, you're supposed to be gone. How are you still standing? I'll give you this. You're vastly stronger than what you were, even as normal, even as transformed into the tail beast. However, this boost in power might make a difference for most, but for me, this is simply child's play. I was wondering if I could use this to find you, but I see that you have warded yourself well. So I guess I no longer have to play around with you, said Naruto as he held his hand up. Arise, Venusaur, he said, as a sword, created from darkness, was brought forward into his hand. You think you're the only one that can wield weapons? Yagura said, as his 4 other arms retracted. He created a larger sword. Let's see, which blade is stronger, he said. He rushed forward as Naruto swiped. However, Yagura dodged as he appeared behind Naruto. It's over. However, blood exploded from his joints as his arms fell clean off. You think that by dodging, my slash wouldn't reach you, said Naruto. This is a sword of destruction, and its capability is far beyond your imagination. However, saying that, the 4 other arms came out, of Yagura's back. He thrusted them forward as he was right behind Naruto. Naruto slashed the ear in front of him. Yagura was bisected as he collapsed down to the ground. How? How did you hit me? You were not even facing my direction. In front of this blade, distance is irrelevant. Space is irrelevant. There is nothing it cannot destroy, even through space itself. As Naruto turned, Yagura's body started to glow. My orders were to take you down, and I will not fail my mission, he said. Naruto gazed down towards them, looking beyond his form and seeing inside of him as he saw the power building and building and building. With the power he has generated, not only will it destroy this area, it will wipe Kiri off the map completely. He couldn't afford to let that explode right here. Every single one of them will die. It's over, Yagura said as he was about to boom, but he found himself in emptiness. Yagura was confused as he didn't quite understand where he was. That was until he saw a speck so far away. His eyes widened in shock. As he was in an empty space, there was nothing. Where are we? That doesn't matter right now. Wait, the explosion. What happened to it? I destroyed it, said Naruto. You destroyed my explosion. That's not possible. My destructive ability is far stronger than yours. It doesn't matter what you muster up in that body of yours. You cannot withstand my destruction, so yes, I destroyed your destruction before it could go off. And where are we? Where did you bring me? As I said earlier, that's not important. All you need to know is, this is the end. No, it's not. Yagura raged. I was given a mission, a goal, a purpose, and I will not fail. I understand you as much as you don't believe I do. You were just created and given sentience, a mind, an understanding, and your first goal was to annihilate me. So I understand that you wish hard to see this become possible, but they messed up when they made you face me, when they made me your opponent, because it didn't matter what they do. It didn't matter who they had created. You wouldn't have stand a chance. Now, goodbye. No, you can't kill me. You can't destroy me. The power I possess is... He exploded into pieces with just a snap of Naruto's finger. After all, his body had gotten severely weakened after Naruto had cut him in half and also destroyed the power inside of him. Because, as he said before, when facing Orochimaru, there was nothing that he couldn't destroy. As Naruto vanished and reappeared back in time, everyone was confused because by their perception, nothing happened. One moment, they felt an enormous buildup of power, an unusual power, and then there was nothing. No time passed. There was no skip or lap in time. The only thing that happened was the power was there, and the next, it ceased to exist. Something that shouldn't be physically possible at all, but it is. And they were all confused on a global scale. As Naruto was just standing there, his blade disappearing. As the others, the wall fell. All of the others that sided with Yagura, they stood there as there was nothing remaining. Naruto stepped forward as he walked towards them. I get it that you people were forced, well, some of you. But some of you still wanted to carry out this meaningless program of annihilating the bloodline users. However, I have come here to show you why that won't be a good idea. Arise, said Naruto, as his gigantic castle appeared out of nowhere. A growling sound could be heard. Stepping out of the castle was the gigantic nine-tailed fox, exhaling steam out of his mouth. So as you all can see, one wrong move, one wrong step in the wrong direction, and you all will be annihilated. So, drop your arms and guards, and give up, and allow these people to rejoin their home, and come together as one. Now, said Naruto. Immediately, all weapons fell. Mei, Terumi, and the others had to stay back in fear as they saw the Nine Tails. They were petrified. Shisui, Kakashi, and Yamato. They were shocked about this as well, because they had no idea about this. Kurama glanced down towards Naruto, as Naruto gave him a nod, as a fox disappeared along with the castle. Everyone was shocked, as all of the forces collapsed. The fear finally gone. Some of them still trembling on their knees, but it was finally over, as the others came rushing down towards Naruto. Meanwhile that was going on, the three gods were observing everything from a window, as they saw and watched everything took place. Us finally arrived. Us stood there in front of the three gods. It was shown earlier that there were differences in their power, given that they gave us an order. Us stood there as he gazed at all three of them. The god with the time stamp on him spoke. Even with that power, he still stood no chance. The god with no symbol, just pure emptiness, spoke next. We underestimated this foe. He's far stronger than we thought he was. The god with the eye spoke next. Yes, we did. However, next time will be his last. His strength is becoming a problem. His existence was a problem from the beginning. But now we know we cannot allow him to keep on going on. His strength might prove to become a problem for us if we allow it to grow with more time. They all glanced towards us, as the one that possessed no symbol spoke. Summon Shibai Osusuki, he said, as us nodded before he vanished. But guys, me and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and social media platform. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.